The Blob tool is used for drawing 2D shapes that have thickness. Essentially, it is a 3D shape drawing tool. The Blob tool only works in voxel mode. There's an old saying, once you master the Blob tool in 3DCoat, you shall have endless fun in life. Join me as we discover the mysteries of the Blob tool. Okay, as I mentioned, the Blob tool only makes sense and only exists in voxel mode. So let me clear my grid and set up the comfortable workspace for myself. I'll switch on the grid, and here we are in an empty viewport. Now the Blob tool is an excellent candidate to start building things. And you will be utilizing the E panel a lot. And within the E panel, you will only be able to use these shape modes. Let's go through them quickly. Let's start with the first one, which is pretty simple. It's a square. I'll go into top view and I'll draw a square. Now, from the top view, it just looks like a 2D shape, but if we go and tilt the viewport, then you can see it has thickness. What determines the Blob tool's thickness? Well, you can see immediately that the size of my brush is how thick a shape will appear in its depth, so what we can't see when we draw it. Let's go to the rectangle tool. I'd like to change my radius, so make it a little bit thinner, this shape. Okay, and as you can see, it is thinner, and for some reason, it comes floating, and it pretty much lines up with almost the top, but not quite, of the previously drawn square shape. Okay, so if we want to control where our shapes land, and of course we do, then we have to use the on plane feature, which is a checkbox on the left top of your screen. Now, this plane is the place where the next shape will be drawn, except for we don't really know where this plane is until we define it. Now, if you click on this drop down and pull this a bit wider, you can see that the plane parameters have a number of options. Let's look at them. The plane defined by right mouse button, that is what we are using now. So if I click with my right mouse button onto that surface, then yes, my new shape has been created on that surface. If I click on the newer elevated rectangle, then we can almost start building stairs, for example. I forgot to click on the new ones, on the new even higher staircase. So it's not staircase, stair. So you always right click, and you don't have to let me clear my view. So we can build stairs like this. Okay, it's not the fastest way, but it is one way of doing things. Now, these stairs are floating because our very first stair was not defined. It was, in somewhere in the viewport. So I'm gonna clear my. I have a hotkey for clearing my viewport. We have a X, Y, Z coordinates that we can zero out by pressing this X. And then pressing space, you can reposition your shape. So there it is. It's sitting on our ground plane, which is very nice. Okay, let's go on to the what is this tool? I'm sorry, but okay, first of all, I'm going to right-click on this shape. Okay, and this is the polygonal lasso. It was eluding me. So polygonal lasso tool. This is exactly what it sounds like. You have this in Photoshop as well. And yeah, basically it does what it says. It creates a polygonal lasso. And you can use double click. If I double click here, it will automatically close my shape, as you can see. So we've got a couple of shapes already in the making. We are starting to build whatever we need, whatever we want. Let me clear my viewport again. The polygonal lasso, or even the square, and actually all of these, maybe not the lasso, whatever that is called. So this is just a pure lasso kind of tool. Again, I didn't define the base, so now it will be on the ground. Okay, and this is just basically in itself nothing special, but you can use a relaxation value, which I will demonstrate. If I go to 0, it was 100%, which smoothed out the shape. And now I'm doing all sorts of intricate forms. And this is where we can make very nice island shapes, for example, or I don't know, all sorts of interesting, forms. If you put it to 100, then it basically, you can't have all those intricacies, but you can have these nice, smooth, blobby shapes. Basically, this is the Blob Tool, if you want to be like really literal. And we also have a drop down over here where, let me go back to the square tool and let's X out this. Yep, except for the normal. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm glad it happened. The normal of the plane was in an arbitrary, it's facing somewhere that way. So you can also specify explicitly x, y, x minus y minus z minus planes. Now, if we are in the top view, you can go down here to cheat, and y is our go-to axis, and then you can get what you expected. In this case, I think this doesn't work well. It works in, so this might be a bug, but if you press Y, I would expect that Y in the positive axis, in the up axis, would be preferred, and minus Y would do what just happened to draw it in the negative values. Anyways, that being said, I'm going to choose minus Y, and this is how it's going to be eventually correct, in my opinion. Okay, so now it's laying on the ground. So back to this drop down. Plain border, as you can see, this is like almost a brick-like shape. But if you go to round border, then you can have a nice, well, a pill or a pillow kind of shape. And you can always, play with your brush size. So let's make a really thin brush from the top. I'm going to right click. It's going to lay on top of this. So I define my plane. Okay, so this isn't visible as that much, but sometimes you have to play with the lights. Let's clean this whole thing again. And here. Okay, so now you can see that you get a really thin rounded border. So it's a smoothed out flat surface. Okay, moving on, you have sharp border. To demonstrate this, I'm going to get a bigger radius for my brush. I'm going to clear this, and this is a very nice shape to have. And let's draw it in every single tool like this. Polygonal lasso quickly. Tick tick. Good. That's nice. It looks very nice. Over there, you can do a ton of things. This is like immediate UFO type of shape. The ellipse, the elliptical shape is just that. And finally, we have the curves. Now, the curves introduce a whole new set of icons. I'm not going to go into every single one of them, but I will use the straight lines tool. Okay, good. And so our shape hasn't been created yet. We have to press enter. And then you can see what a nice, cool shape it produces. Let's go back into top view. I'm going to clear everything with Alt X. That's my hotkey again. The curves tree you can find right next to the sculpt tree. I'm going to delete this curve. And if you don't find it, then you go to Windows, Panels, and everything lives here. Anything that you need, some kind of a panel, then you can get it from there. Just remember that. Okay, so back to the curves. One quick tip for you. Okay, close it. And if you right-click on any of these points, it's cyclical, so it goes around in 3 modes. This is my favorite, basically. I'll go here to manipulate that point directly. And okay, I'm just massaging these. And I'll press enter. And since we still got sharp border, then we can get this kind of nice shape. Let's move the whole curve for now. Okay, you have to be in curve selection mode, and then you can move the whole curve. You should be able to move the whole curve. If you press Q, then you can get these controls, and if you press X, okay, Control Z, something is not adding up exactly, but okay, sorry about that. Let's change the border to plain border and press enter. And then let's move the curve again up and round border, press enter. Okay, so Shift A to get all the important things in view. And you can see these are our options for drawing certain profiles with the shape tool. The blob tool. It should be called the shape tool, in my opinion. Okay, and the blob tool is often used for hard surface goodness, and I think we need to talk about one other thing that concerns the E panel. If we use any one of these first 3, the square, the rectangle, and the polygonal lasso tool, which I'll click on, and we press the E panel again, we have a new edge radius parameter, which I will crank up. and you will immediately see that we have rounded corners in our shape. So if you have round border and edge radius set to something, big, then you can really have these super nice modern, I don't know, Apple type of buttons at your disposal. So let me again quickly draw an iPhone, except for draw it with the rectangle tool. Okay, let's say that this is it. And or just any kind of phone, basically. And I'm in the top view, but you know what? I'll be in the front view rather for lighting purposes. So the base of my plane can be in the origin, but I want the normal to be the z-axis now. So I'm going to press Z, actually minus Z, just remembering that bug that we encountered. And here is our phone. Nice. Okay, so I chose the front view because the light in 3DCoat favors this, especially. Okay, and this is how thick our phone is, for example. And let's use the Blob Tool to subtract a little phone, a camera port. Okay, so now I've got I need the ePanel square, and I'm just going to do, okay, this is way too round, but maybe it's not that bad. And now when I positioned it, I'm just holding it and pressing Control, and there you go. There's a nice little phone port. Now, this is way too thick, and it's because our brush size is pretty big. Let's halve our brush size, go into front view, Control Z. Maybe the radius of this edge radius can also be brought down to 60. Okay, I think this works better. Position it with space, and then just leave it. I'm still clicking, and Control. Good. Okay. We immediately have a camera port. If I create a new layer, and let's color this new layer like really dark, then I'll right-click on the side of this phone, and I shall create a new. I'll take the edge radius down now. So I'm going to click right on the side because that's the depth that I would like to catch. And I'll just look what happened. I kind of filled up this space. So let's make this like really dark and glossy. But funny thing is that it only darkens if we crank up the metallic. So for our purposes, we will. Okay, if I right-click on this, then the next thing that I'm going to draw is going to be a camera lens, and it's going to be right on that. Okay, that's nice, but that's not what we're after. Okay, Control Z, ePanel. We want the circle. Oh yes, we don't want round border. We want plain border. So we do it again, and this will have dual cameras. So here's a new feature. Watch out. Press anything on the numeric, and not on the num pad, but on the numeric keyboard. And I pressed number 2, so I'm going to have 2 lenses over here. Okay, these lenses are pretty thick, and the reason is that my brush size is too big. So I'm going to crank down the radius to 3, maybe. Control Z this. And okay, position with space, press 2 or 3. I press 3, then press 2 rather. And then if you still need more repositioning, you can again press space and then let go of space and then do the following. So as you can see, the Blob Tool is very versatile. It absolutely is a workhorse. We can also, subtract, add, and build all sorts of stuff with this. What else is there to say? Basically, the plane defined by right mouse button needs a little bit of practice if you want to use it efficiently. Let me show you another cool feature. If you want to be absolutely precise, then you can choose plane defined by 3 points. I love this feature because you can click on this red one and define one of the points of the plane. Click on the green, pick text, and then the blue one, and then click on the surface of this phone. And then, no matter what you do, your Blob Tool will be basically drawing on this plane. So I'm going to look at this. I was on the wrong layer, but you get the idea. In this case, this isn't a useful feature, but if you have a super arbitrary angle that you can't, for the life of you, like get right with right mouse button, okay? And this isn't a good model to demonstrate this, but then you can absolutely go here and say that plane is defined by 3 points, and then you can just meticulously put down those 3 points. Okay, let's see. There's so much to cover and so little time because I don't want to make this video for ever, but these are pretty self-explanatory. You can use the XY plane or ZX plane, which is ZX, it's the top view basically. So no matter where I am, and I'm drawing in a skewed, okay? Yes, and this you have to take seriously. If you go too low with this, or if you try to draw parallel to your drawing plane, then that kind of throws 3DCoat off because you would draw a massive. So as you can see, I'm drawing on this plane, no matter which. Okay, so this was too much for 3DCoat. It kind of denied what I wanted with good cause, because it would crash. You really have to look at camera angles in this scenario. Okay, maybe my brush radius got too small. Okay, there you go. Yep. And I think that there's a ton of other stuff to cover. If you play around with 3DCoat's tools, that's my best and biggest advice. Play around, use it as a toy, and then after a while, it will behave the way you want it to, and it will treat you well because it is a super fast way of creating. And the Blob Tool isn't my absolute favorite tool because that is the sphere tool. I might do a video on that. I'm just cutting off the excess because this is on the same layer as my super iPhone that I just did. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this off. The on-plane feature, if you leave it on, then you might not notice. Just once in a while, check out your left, upper left corner, and Make sure it's on when you need it and off when you don't. Okay, I think I'll just cut this off because I don't like that. I just, ruined the nice phone. And I hope the Blob tool was useful. See you in the next video. Cheers.